I'm Em,
I'm Rach,
and you're watching Watched. And for this week, we are feeling nostalgic, always. We have decided to basically, a few weeks ago, we have done a Disney theme video. So today we are continuing it, but this time with bands and music and artists that we listened to during our childhood and teenagehood, and basically telling you where we stand right now in the fandom of these bands.
If we still like it or not, or how we're feeling about it, and also how are they doing, because some of them, you know, situations.
Yeah.
You can go like for age, you know.
Okay.
Because I know my first band, I remember liking them.
A few of these I liked at the same time.
Yeah, obviously.
So I don't have like I started listening to this one first.
Yeah, but I remember liking this band and then the other band just because I'm telling you why I remember, because I didn't have a phone at the time. Like I was like 14 or so.
I just remember one of yours, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
I just remember because of the phone. I was like, oh, I remember.
And because I didn't have a phone, so I was like, I just listened to things my aunt used to listen to. And I remember liking this particular band that I had to search, and I was like so mesmerized about them, and like, wow, I want to be them. The band I'm talking about, it's Paramore. I remember being like so obsessed with Hailey. I remember her like yellow kind of collants that
Into You was your first, the first one that you. I remember you saying like Into You was your first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Introduction to them, right?
Like I'm talking about her clothes. I was so obsessed
with her. Yeah, it was very punkish at the time.
And I remember like a month ago, I was showing my sister this particular band, and I remember like I always wanted that.
11 years ago.
That is. That is.
You're starting I'm starting young. Yeah. For me, Paramore, it was always in the back of my head, but I never religiously listened to it. But I was like, if it shows up, I will listen to it, you know? Like Misery Business was really good. It was one of I preferred Misery Business to Into You. But just so you know, she introduced me to Paramore.
Because like, I would listen to every single song of Paramore, and I still do. When this came out, I was like, what, 9 or so? It was 7 years ago.
17,
so I was very young, so we didn't... Like I didn't care about the music video. So when I was 14 or 13 when this was released, is the time when you start looking at artists and you're like, oh, I want to be like them.
Yeah. So during this time, she introduced me and I was like, okay, because I was listening to other bands, a few that I will not mention because a few things came out about them, and I'm like, I don't be involved or talk about them. But at that time, I was listening to other bands. Like Roommate 94. It's like a cover band, but like also with normal. And I was listening to, it's one of the bands we have in here, also Green Day, Fall Out Boy. So, and these we have in common. So when she like, oh, but I also listen to Paramore, I was like, oh, okay. And then I started listening to. But it wasn't like they are my favorite band. My favorite band was always Room 94. Like talking about this, I keep remembering new bands that I didn't remember. Because I was always into the niche, like the small bands that no one knew.
Together with like Paramore, I also started liking My Chemical Romance. Obviously, we also share that.
But you got so much deeper into My Chemical Romance than I did.
At the same time, I guess I also liked. I don't know how to say that in English with Evanescence. It just it's the bands that my aunt really liked, so I was like, yes. Yeah. With her, I also started listening to Michael Jackson, that I still listen to today. Yeah. Gotta say, the same old songs just again and again. So it was fun. I think it was like that kind of songs at that time. Like I remember being like listening to what she was listening, and then I started going to Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Then I went to a band that we should not mention because it's controversial. That starts with a P, so let's move on. And then I went to Falling in Reverse, and Black Veil Brides. That was more kind of heavy metal kind of vibe.
Yeah, at that time she turned to that. I also turned to heavy metal, but like I turned to like Slipknot, and Jacksepticeye did the drum cover of that band. Oh my god, I don't remember. I turned to like hardcore metal, and I remember my parents being like, "Do not listen to that." Like, Dad, you also listen to this. It's your fault.
Kind of fun though.
Yeah, I keep remembering new bands. I just remembered Bring Me the Horizon. There was a phase in my life that I listened to Bring Me the Horizon every day.
It was me when I started liking to Falling in Reverse, I remember.
Yeah, it was around the same time.
Funny, because at the same time I was listening to that, I also kind of enjoyed going into One Direction vibe. Yeah. It was like such a weird dynamic, like listening to Falling in Reverse and then liking One Direction.
In One Direction, I stopped listening to them.
2015.
Yeah, around that time I stopped listening to them. If you ask me why, I have no idea. I got into other bands, so like I kind of stopped.
Yeah, with One Direction, what came along was 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah.
And actually, I really like it. Was such a such a good band that One Direction thing got introduced me. And then it was the Vamps going on.
Yeah.
In Little Mix all around the same time.
Popish is still like, I still listen to pop, but it's more like pop dance, you know, like things that make me dance. So obviously, like she was saying, One Direction I did listen to at the beginning, Little Mix, the Vamps. And then we have like a more punkish pop, which is Five Sauce. That I have started listening to them since She Looks So Perfect.
Same. Yeah, because we were together when they debuted.
Yeah.
They were like debuted in 2015 and we are in the same class in 2015.
I think we listened to She's So Perfect at the same time. She Looks So Perfect at the same time.
I don't remember, but it was so fun.
Yeah, but I do want to go back in time because my taste in music started when I was 3 or 4 years old, like really, really young. If you guys don't know, I am the youngest in my family. In my generation, you know, I'm the youngest. So I have a lot of, what's it called, influences by my sisters and my cousins. So this is really weird to say. And so in 2004, 2005, I started listening to, at the same time, Jonas Brothers, Tokyo Hotel. You know, there's the other things like Lemonade Mouth and stuff like that.
It was later because the movie
was slightly later. But like listening to Tokyo Hotel and Jonas Brothers at the same time, I think my brain was confused because I was still young, so I'm like, I want to listen to like, you know, Jonas Brothers. And like Demi Lovato and then...
But Demi Lovato was a little more of a punk vibe, so it was like also I really enjoyed Demi Lovato.
But like Tokyo Hotel, if you guys know, is really heavy in the punk rock genre. Like it was really crazy time to think of. Like I was 4 years old listening to a German band and an American band at the same time. Tokyo Hotel's like I started listening to like old songs. I'm like, I don't remember these songs, but I know they were these songs. Like I don't remember them being like that, and I think it's because now I understand English. When back then I didn't, so obviously. The lyrics were like something else, and now I'm listening to them and I'm like, this is not the song.
You sing in German? God knows.
No, Step I Did in English was like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't have it any other way because it's me, you know. I'm still like a heavy metal girl, but at the same time, I'm a pop girl.
To like everything, like at the same time.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm in a nostalgic mood. Yesterday I listened to Paramore, and then I also listened to Ariana Grande. Also, I listened to Taylor Swift, which also her old stuff. My favorite song from Taylor Swift is Wildest Dreams. Just so you guys know. Yeah.
Then I remember being so like when I started listening to One Direction, going a little bit back. I also started liking Cody Simpson. That it was like not that known because he's Australian and. It was like going on and he stopped and then I remember like when I started liking the Vamps, that was around 2016. I was 16. I started liking Shawn Mendes. Thanks to the Vamps, I started liking Shawn Mendes and New Hope Club. Both of them still active. I don't like New Hope Club that much or at all anymore. They are also changed a little bit of their style, so it was like, yeah. Sean kind of, I don't know what Sean is.
Sorry, but you just remembered we have done like a video about road trip, and there was always naked guy, so it was called the naked guy.
And then with New Hope Club, I really enjoyed a band that was very small. Like, you know, with Room 94, I feel like the same vibe with Over Atlantic.
Yeah.
Sadly, they broke up like two years later.
Aren't they back again?
No. Because, as I said, the name is very symbolic, it's Over Atlantic, because each member was from a different country.
Yeah.
We forgot about One Only, because I don't know, it was a little more recent kind of vibe.
Yeah,
it wasn't 20 or so.
It wasn't really Teenagehood, that's why.
Yeah, I guess. Big Time Rush. I also like Big Time Rush when they did the show, so I still listen to them. And they are together. I think all my bands kind of on and off. Like there's
continuously.
There's no band that's like stop, like One Direction.
Amongst these, like I was mentioning before, and she mentioned also Pentatonix. But I listen to Pentatonix more for their gospel songs, because the guy, the beatboxer, is from my church or my religion. So I started liking them before I knew that, but after I knew that, it was like, oh yeah, now I feel good about liking them, you know. There's like, it was like, oh okay. So I can, because for example, they never do shows in Saturdays or Fridays.
That's funny. 80s did a cover with Pentatonix. They did a...
I think I remember seeing that, yeah.
And then when I started listening to 80s, not related, I was like searching it, and then I saw like people talking about that cover. It was like, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Jonas Brothers doing a song with
TXT.
Yeah, I was like, well, okay, but that is my favorite song. So from Jonas Brothers.
I think Jonas Brothers are that type of band that can do covers with everyone. They have like such weird artists, like Love, that I forgot to mention, that I also really liked Love, and Youngblood, that I started listening when I was in that kind of more angry phase of my life, that I was 16 at the time. So
basically that time was a depressive one.
Are we still out?
I mean, some days. It's seasonal depression now.
I think you should check all of them. All of your bands are still active.
Most of them, yes. Lemonade Mouth obviously isn't.
Jonas Brothers as Camp Rock, they are not together, because I would like, they would disband so fast with Shane. I was like, Shane would leave solo so fast.
Yeah. Forgot to mention Selena Gomez. There was a time I listened to Selena Gomez because of Wizards.
Yeah, and I never went with her vibe. My favorite Disney solo girl was Demi Lovato. 100%. It was not because of Camp Rock.
No, it's strange to think about that. Like, we still listen to these songs.
They were so good.
So we end this. If you want a part 2,
we said all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, we didn't say Linkin Park.
I didn't went into that deep with Linkin Park.
I was a little bit, and I cried.
Yeah.
Just saying, I cried.
I also got very shocked.
Like I said, if you want a part 2, please leave a comment below. We might
We should do the first music video we saw and the last music video we saw. Not from if you have some bands in common, let us know.
And the new, if you have different ones, also let us know.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's all.
Yeah.
I'm Rach.
I'm Em.
And you watched.
Thank you. Bye.